just doing a little bit of testing on my my calves. So this is another episode of Fix It Yourself. So this one's going to be on calves. Okay, so first up we want to we know where the calves is. This muscle down here. So what we can do first up is try and get an idea of just exactly the part of our calf that is sore, that is tight, just through movement and loading, hopping, jumping, kind of stretching, these kind of things, and just sort of get a real sense of what's going on in the calf. So it's all about gaining awareness, gathering information, how you're walking, things like that, and then from there we want to start to try and work into it. Okay, so first up I want to give a bit of anatomy lesson. This will be good.
Ninja anatomy.
Ninja anatomy. So we can just see, I love the colouring book. So this one here is the back view of the calf, and we can see this is the superficial muscles. So this is the ones that are exposed or on the top. So the yellow one, that's the gastroc. And then the purple underneath, that's the soleus, and we can just see the green one, flexor digitorum longus, okay? And a little bit of the orange one, flexor hallucis longus. And anyway, so we cut the yellow one away, and then we can see underneath. So we've got all these different little muscles. So the red one, plantaris, one of my favorite ones, goes down and joins just inside the Achilles, just there, okay? The purple one, that's the soleus, which is underneath the gastroc. G, that's the tibialis posterior. So, and they've got I, which is a flexor digitorum hallucis longus, and H is flexor digitorum longus. So you can see with H how that really goes off into the toes, the four toes, and then the orange one here goes off into the big toe. So it's really sort of interesting area here. So we'll get into this one in here. So right here is the money spot. Okay, so we want to push through the gastroc, push through the soleus, and we're going to get into this section here. We're going to push into the side to see how that one's going, which goes down into the toe, how the green one's going, push that way, and how the blue one is going underneath there. So if we go a little bit deeper, and we've also got the popliteus, the pink one as well. So we've done a video on that as well, so look out for that. So we can see this is an even deeper layer. So it's so fascinating. You can see just what's right underneath the calf and what kind of hooks down and goes into the foot. So the blue one here, that goes into the arch of the foot. Okay, and so the green one, that goes into the outside, into the four toes, and we can see exactly where they join in. So with this diagram here shows you where all these muscles join onto the bone. So this is the level we want to get to. So when you're pushing through here, you wouldn't be necessarily thinking there's anything underneath, but if you look at the bone level here, you can see that there's stuff right along the bone, and this is where things originate. This is where it's become stagnant and blocked and solid, and so when it's solid, it can't stretch like it should do, and can't kind of squish like it needs to when you're running and walking and jumping and things like that. And you can see down here, and joins into the foot bones as well. So in the arch, and then underneath the toes and the big toe as well. So fascinating area of the body, the calves, and you can see that it joins up above the knee here, is onto the femur, the big leg bone at the top. So that's where the gastrocs hook into, and the plantaris up there as well. So yeah, and popliteus a little bit just there. So fascinating area of the body. So anyway, so what we want to do here is, so we've moved around, we've gained a bit of awareness where you're tight, but I'll just show you a general way to kind of explore your calves. So generally it's the outside here that people get sore. So we're going to start here. So we just sort of can work it a bit like this, slowly. So we never work fast, we never rub like this. We want to go slowly into the muscles. So when you go slowly in, you can kind of get a lot more sense of what's going on. It's like driving around the block up against walking around the block. When you walk around, you notice so much more. The houses, what the garden's like, things like that. When you're going fast, you don't pick up on things. So we want to go slow, like this, okay? And just pick up on what's going on in your calf. Where is it sore? Where is it painful? And the thing with working with your hands as well, you can feel the pain in the muscle, but you can also get a sense of what it feels like. Is it got a temperature change? What's the shape of it? Is it sharp pushing up into you? Is it a ropey kind of feeling? So there's the important thing to work with your hands. So you don't need a massage tool. So you haven't got any excuse. If you've haven't got tools, you can still be using your hands like this. So you systematically work like this, down the outside, pushing into things, waiting on it like that, waiting for it. I mean, we're trying to encourage it down away from where it's attached up into here, okay? So pushing into it, pushing into it. We can kind of do stuff like this. Get there and straight arm, push down into it like that, okay? So I'll just sort of speed up. So generally we get tighter through this outside. This bit here can be injured sometimes, but not as much. So I won't really worry as much today about that, but there's the same kind of principles. You're just pushing into things. So this is where we kind of, that junction here, that's where our money spot is. So we want to push through the gastroc, push through the soleus, and then try and get down to a bone level. Okay, so that's where those deeper muscles that are generally can be causing a lot of problems, they go down into your foot. So we want to get onto this spot here and we push in and then we wait, and then what we do, we change angle. So we push out into that side one, push straight down into that one that's in the middle, and then you can push that way a bit and just check out to see how the different muscles are going. So in here as well, we can push right through and get onto the bone where this has all kind of been attaching on. So you can just see through this area here, that's where there's deep attachments onto the bone. So we want to give this a really thorough going over, okay? So I want to show you a little bit of Achilles as well. So with your Achilles, you just sort of do a bit of a, go this way for you. You do a bit of a reconnaissance. Is that the word, Aaron?
That's the word.
Close enough. So you just want to, by grabbing your Achilles, you can actually feel like that. And there, when you've got an Achilles problem, you'll be able to actually grab it and it'll tell you straight away exactly where that problem is. So it might be on here. But yeah, generally you'll have a spot and you just sort of do this twisting type thing and you will just know exactly where it is. So what I kind of generally do is once you've kind of done a bit of this and you find a spot, then you grab it like this and then you just twist it like that. So give it a good twist. So a lot of times there'll be heaps of pain in there, but if you go through it, that lesions that are in there, they can be broken down, melted away, and then it's got the ability to heal, can flow again. So do little things like this just to kind of do a little bit of flossing and then get into it. So in these sort of spots here where those fascial continuums of the tendons are going onto those bones, we can kind of get right into there like that. Okay. So just doing a bit of active treatment, you can kind of let you weave right into the spot. So I can feel there's a spot in there. So yeah, just using your own hands, you get a really sense. So then you can get a knuckle in there perhaps, like that. And then do a little bit of lunging like that and hit right into that spot where I really need it, like that. Okay, so it's just a matter of working around. So what you can do as well, you can use your own body. So my knee here, I can do that. So I can get that pointy bit of my kneecap and I can work into the end of the edge of my calf there. And then once I want to, it's sunk in a bit, lift up my glutes and then drop that down. I can pull my leg down into that spot. So you can even do some bit of a warm-up stroke with your leg. So you can be like this. Just let it slide a little bit and really get a sense of where you need to work. Go through the middle. Bit more right, split that gastroc in half and then get into that money spot type of thing. So you just got to innovate. Whatever you need to do, you got to do it. So you use the different tools on your body, different shapes. It can be like a jigsaw puzzle. So the same with the calf there, you can kind of get into that ankle. So use the ankle bone there and then just sink sink my calf into it and just wait. So this one's not that intense, so it might be a good one to sort of start with to warm things up like that. So we're just giving you some ideas. So that's a bit of a reconnaissance for a start. So you're kind of getting a good idea, the feel of it. Is it got heat in it? Is there sharpness? Can you feel little calcium spurs perhaps on the tendon or around your ankle, things like that? So you're kind of getting a good sense of what the pains are and you're relating back to when you moved as well. Does that make sense? Gee, I didn't know. When you start working on things, sometimes it goes on a lead and you can sense that something's tight is coming up. So that's where you're not going to find this information out unless you kind of push into it and kind of investigate and then interpret the different sensations. So anyway, so next up we'll raid the gym and the house for different items. But one of a really good one we've found is a kettlebell. So what you want to do for a start, you want to go into the top of the calf and you can just sort of let that sink in like that. Just keep on going, sink in. When you find a good spot, then you can start to move around. So I can lift my hips up like that, and that can manage the weight. Put my butt down on the ground, I can push my leg onto it. You know, if it's probably not up there, it's not a good spot for me, but to put heaps of weight on. But here, I see how I can kind of lift up my whole hips like that, and then I can manage the weight, the load that's going through it. And then I can kind of move side to side, backwards and forwards that little bit on that same spot, and just really work it. So we're not gliding over things, we're just pinning it and we're just waiting. So these different micro movements, I can just twist on it a little bit like that. That might be able to help me get an angle. Find that spot. Let's go down towards the money spot. So in here, like that, and then just try and smash it. So I'm pushing my weight down towards that way, down towards my feet. I'm trying to get an angle so that I can really hit into the money spot. Like that, weight on it. Then I just spin around those little bits like that. That way. Whoa, that's got it. That's cool. So then you can just sort of put more weight on. I might push down, more weight, and just really try and release it off. Okay, so we go all the way down the leg. So we can go down through here into the Achilles, like that. Just give you a few examples. And even like into the corner type of thing. So you might have a sore spot here, so you can kind of push on that, pull into it, like that. But let's show you another tool. So with when you're using tools, if you're going to use a few tools, what you'd want to do is go broad first and then get sharper and sharper and sharper and more detailed. So with this, so we could use a rolling pin or something that's got a ball type of structure on it. So it's good to have these kind of ones as well, because you can kind of maneuver it and that when you want. So you can kind of just roll it for a start, like that. So that has a real therapeutic kind of feeling, just like that there. Okay, so you're just rolling it. So let's go into the money spot, there, like that. And then when we hit on a spot, then we can start to, oh yeah, when I go like that, I can really feel like there's a therapeutic spot in there. And if I hold it, go up like that, that really hits onto it. Okay, so we just kind of keep on exploring with our tools. So the Achilles, there might be a good way we can roll, hit onto a spot. Like that might go into the right kind of groove on that Achilles to really hit up into where that pain has been. Okay, so with this sort of one as well, you might be able to do some actual pressure like that, pushing into it. But generally, I'd probably use this one for rolling and more broader kind of stuff. And then I've got some other tools. So I've got the pestle, which is probably more, we could use like this as well. So we can use the ground, push up into it. So we might go like this, in like that. So we can use our weight, my glute there is pushing down, so I can get lots of pressure, lots of force into it, like that. Get into the right spot, really get into that calf. Okay, get into it. Just follow the leads. Where do you need it? Right deep in here, where those real deep muscles attach onto the bone. Push through, whoops, push through. And weight on it, and then change your forces, change it round, scoop it out, like that. Shift it out, little shimmies that way, like that. Okay, so then like an even sharper tool, I just got a screwdriver, so you should have something like this. So it might be a wooden spoon handle or something like that. So it's sort of like, use whatever you got. So if, say I've identified there's a spot deep in here, so I'd just be in like this, getting into it, pushing down on my leg and holding a really good grip so it doesn't kind of flip out. See how that'll flip out if I don't kind of control it, like that. Put all that weight onto it. So better is just like this, and get that and can push right into it, like that there. And then when we've got really specific kind of stuff, we might kind of find our spot and we'll do a bit of active kind of release. So where we're pushing in and down like that. So really push it into the side there, I can feel that. And then just these little micro moves, we might move the tool that little bit, but also kind of go up and down on our toe and really hit the spot where we really wanna hit. Okay, so anyway, that's like a general kind of treatment, but what you do on your own body, it'd be go really specific. Explore it if it's the first time, maybe, and then you might discover some spots that you didn't even know. But then once you've done it a bit, then you're going to hone in right on the spots. But you're going to need probably a little bit of time. Like calves generally take 3 days. I've been saying to people for years, it feels like you've been kicked by a horse for a few days. But then you wake up like the third day, everything feels beautiful again. So during the self-treatment as well, what you can do is test it. Have you got into the right spot? How does it feel now when you go up on your toes? How does it feel to stretch it, lunge and things like that? Walk around and get a bit of a sense of just how your body's performing now. Does it feel like it's more connected with the ground, or you feel like you can track more purely and straight through your ankle or things like this because your calf's released off? So it's just sort of like a bit of an exploration and discovery kind of session, and just sort of got to tune in to the sensations. And after you've done this a few times, you're going to have a real sense of what's good pain and what's trauma. When it's traumatic, you don't want to push into it because you're not ready, both on an emotional level perhaps or a physical level. It's still healing, and still it's too sore, too vulnerable, too whatever, so you got to just honor that and then do a different spot. You might be ready next week, say. But it's just an exploration session, and but with the calves, they're in reach of your hands, so you haven't really got an excuse. You can get right into them, and you just know you're the best practitioner for yourself. Just know your own body. You are the expert. So have a crack, get into it. A few days later, it'll be $1 million.
G'day guys, I've come on as a late substitute for this calf video, so I'm going to give you some extra bonus tips. Let's just have a look at the anatomy, a bit of extra anatomy for you too. I don't think Ninja covered this, and it's bloody important. We love treating the white bits, and the calf is full of it. So the gastrocs, you can see here in the upper gastrocs, lots of white. The money spot here, down to the Achilles, and you take that off, and the soleus, it's full of white too. So the calves, they cop a lot of force. They propel us forward in life. So it's an area that just cop a lot of force and a lot of stress. So that's why they need to be really white, because they actually propel force up through the body, up through the feet. Okay, so looking at this chart over here, Ninj, obviously you've already gone over it, but there's not too many I guess, small muscles. They're all spanning the length of the lower leg, no matter what level they're at, okay? So what I'm going to show you here is how to use broad tools to get into these spots as well, because they are quite a long, broad muscle. So I want to show you some extra releases, but I guess using some more stereotypical tools that you might be able to find around the house. So I've got a PVC pipe, or you can use a roller. And also what I'm going to show you is a basketball too, okay? So I'm going to start with the PVC pipe. So by now you should know exactly where you want to do your work. What I like to do is obviously put my right leg on the roller and put the other leg on top, okay? And that reinforces the pressure and adds a little bit of force down as well. And I like starting with just some gentle rolls. So you prop yourself up and just work right up and down the calf. And this is just good little exploration. You might even want to start with this actually, because it's just a really good way to figure out where your main sticking points are. You can roll over towards the shin more, like that. Go right up and down. Oh, you can probably see, yeah, where the force is being applied. Like that, and then you can even come out as well on the outside a little bit more, so getting into that perineal line a little bit more. And Ninja's already gone over this, but we know that just from where our foot hits the ground when we're running, the outside of the calf here is where the main stress points are. So yeah, coming up to this upper gastrocs area, yeah, that's where you're going to find a real good amount of curry right up in there. It's good. So what you can do as well is once you find a spot, say you want to work into the money spot a little bit more, you let this ankle relax like that, so you just get as much force going through that spot as possible. Push yourself down like that, and then what you can do is just raise the toes up towards your head, and that'll floss the area that you're pushing down onto the pipe, just to try and get some blood flow in there. Yeah, so you're just pinning and then stretching and compressing the muscle against that pin. All right, so you can do that throughout the whole calf. With the ball, pretty similar, but I reckon this just gets in a little bit deeper, okay? So similar thing, and just work your way through it. You might be able to use a footy or a rugby ball, NFL ball, whatever. The basketball is probably a little bit harder because it's quite high, so you have to actually prop yourself up and balance yourself, but yeah, it just, again, gives a really nice broad release, because like I said, these muscles, they span the whole length of the lower leg, so it's good to just pin them on areas along the whole length of the shin, the tibia and the fib. Oh, right up there, that's gold. That's really good in there. Whew! Wowee. That's all in my knee. That's a cracker. All right, so you get the point of that one. What I also wanted to show was, I've got this tool here. I don't know if you're going to find one of these around your house, but we've got one. It's like a cardboard cylinder or something. Yep. You can find something of the sort at home. And this is good because it's kind of the same, I guess, width as the lower leg. So what you can do is this. So yeah, like I said, you might not have exactly this tool, but you can kind of innovate from home, get in the shed, get in the tool shed, utensil drawer, whatever. You might be able to find something similar. Might be just the thing you need to fix your pain and change your life. That's actually really relieving. Go all the way down to the Achilles there. It's a good one. And just to finish, just going to do the old lacrosse ball again. You can use a golf ball, spiky ball, because this is just a really easy one to really get into those more targeted spots. So let's say start in the money spot there, and similar thing. Let's reinforce the top leg, the bottom leg with the top leg, prop ourselves up, and then just hold. And when you're using these targeted tools, it's just about getting in a headspace where you can relax, take some deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And you want to just do your best to let that tissue completely relax and elongate, and try and let this whole leg sink on top of that force there. Because remember, Ninja showed us just how many layers there are to the calf. You've got the gastrocs and the soleus, and you've got like 3 or 4 other ones that are on the bone level. So you've got to go through many layers. So if you're not fully allowing the tissue to sink over the ball, you might be only hitting the first 2 layers. You're not getting to the deepest one. So take your time. The body needs time to change its state. So yeah, take your time, meditate on it, and guaranteed it's gonna help you with your pain. All right, so thanks for watching the calf video. Stay tuned for more videos on, say, the shin and the foot and the ankle. We've got quite a few coming up for you that can all relate to this area. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. Okay, folks, so I'm going to give you some bonus footage now with some more generic or stereotypical tools, but want to give you a little bit of extra anatomy too.
Oh, cool.
So let's have a look at this one, Ninja. My first showing of the calf video here. What's going on, guys? Anyway, you know we love the white bits. Look at the white bits here. The white bits on the gastrocs and up in the upper gastrocs here, and then underneath that, the soleus. Look at that, it's all white. So the calves are just a cesspool for...
Lots of white stuff.
Cesspool! Okay, guys, my first little bit in the calf video anyway. I'm struggling today. Alright guys, I've come in late for some bonus footage here. Let's go have a look at some extra anatomy.
Cool.
So you know we love treating the white bits. The calf is has a lot of it. I can't do it! I can't do it! Why can't I do it?
I don't know.